Alright, fam. Welcome back on the channel. What's good, my boys? Um, Long story short, I heard people talking behind my back saying, like, we fed up with this Victor chap, we have to school him at every video that he fucking makes. We have to explain to him same things over and over again. So, we decided to let someone else do that job for us because we are fed up. Lads, I'm dying today. I am such on a massive hangover. But let's focus on the main thing. We have a video to do. It's an introduction video, a Kamen Rider video, so I can understand the history and how it works. You know what I mean? Let's go. 5 minutes and 50 seconds.
So, let me tell you about Kamen Rider.
Please tell me.
With this franchise being nearly 50 years old, alongside having over 30 seasons plus movies, specials, and crossovers,
50 years
it
old?
may seem overwhelming at first.
I thought
but
it's
that's
like
what this video is for.
30.
Starting with the basics, there are 3 eras of Kamen Rider. The Showa era, from 1971's
What?
Kamen Rider,
What?
also referred to as Ichigo.
Guys, sorry, I'm gonna go back for a second.
There are 3 eras of
No.
Kamen Rider.
What year was that?
Starting with the basics, there are 3 eras of Kamen Rider. The Showa era.
1926 to 19. Last time my math was 26. That's like 63 years. That's 63 years late. Come on, man. That's not 50 years. What am I saying? What am I?
From 1971's Kamen Rider,
From 1971's Kamen Rider. So they don't count the Showa. I mean, they don't count 1926 to 1971. Interesting. What the fuck?
referred to as Ichigo, to the
I'm 20 seconds in this and I'm confused already.
theatrical Kamen Rider J, the Heisei era.
Probably
2000's
the
Kamen
ones
Rider
that you love.
to
The one that you love the
2019's
most.
Kamen Rider Geo, and the Reiwa era.
Reiwa.
From 2019's
I
Kamen
didn't.
Rider
I never
01
heard about it.
Aside from being easily
Man,
organized.
1926. Guys, I'm pausing again. 39 seconds. 1926, 1989. Like, yeah, there's only 3 of them, but I'm already confused, my man. Like, in the Showa era, there was no Kamen Rider. Why did you said 1971? Let's go.
Each era has its own style that can appeal to anyone.
Fair enough.
But where do you start? Each season is standalone for the most part, so you can really begin
Like you
anywhere.
told me, yeah?
Kamen Riders do appear a lot more together during a Showa era season, while the Heisei era has crossovers during movies. But again, you can basically start anywhere without worrying about watching anything prior. Now what to watch specifically? The absolute main number 1 thing I always recommend is whatever looks cool to you. Did you grow up with older monster movies and enjoy the classic feel of the Showa era? Do you like a more modern look with the Reiwa era? Maybe you like the drama of early Heisei, or the visual style of Heisei's later half. Does a particular stand out to you?
I would say the I'm gonna pause a lot in this video. I would say the Heisei second part, like the latest half. It looks like it has everything. It has a bit of drama, has a bit of action, has looks cool. Let's go.
About the motif. Have you ever come across a cool clip and wanted to watch where it
I
came
want
from?
the new one.
Honestly, whatever interests and
The-
appeals to you is
the
an easy
Reiwa.
start. Especially since I think any season can appeal to generally anyone. Every season has a great cast, wonderful stories to be invested in, and of course, fantastic action. I'd
Yeah.
advise against avoiding seasons just because someone else didn't like it.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it could become your favorite. Everyone has their own opinion,
100%.
so please enjoy what you want. Although, if you're still stuck on what to watch, then here are a few seasons I can recommend. Kamen Rider Double O's and Fours are the first 3 seasons of what's known as Heisei Phase 2, or Neo Heisei. They're the easiest to get into since they're episodic while having overarching mysteries that keep you saying, just one more episode. You might be interested in Double's detective stories that has 2 people become one Kamen Rider, or the story of a wanderer who teams up with a monster to fight the manifestation of human desires in Kamen Rider O's. Or a high schooler who juggles class and making friends with absolutely everyone while fighting monsters along the way with Kamen Rider Heisei. There's a lot to love with these three, especially their cast and their heartfelt journeys. Having cool suits helps too. Earlier when I said that each era has their own style, that can also apply to the Heisei era's early and later halves, often referred to as Heisei Phase 1 and Phase 2. Early Heisei has more of a dramatic and serious tone compared to the later half, but that's not to say Phase 2 can't be serious either. Kamen Rider Kuga might be the closest to a J-drama as it follows a lone rider fighting human-like monsters that are trying to play deadly games. It's a slower-paced season, but those quieter moments make you enjoy the little things, like a thumbs up from our hero.
Kuga looks nice, man.
Recommendation is Kamen Rider Dan-O, where an accident-prone young man is thrust into a time-traveling train as he makes friends with monsters, while going through touching moments that I haven't experienced anywhere else. Of course, I'm not going over every single season. These 5 are just the easiest I can recommend to you for Heisei. As for Reiwa, then the next thing I can say is to watch any current season. Yeah, that's it. Showa era is just a fun time. Ichigo's cheesy yet sincere episodicness is great. Kamen Rider Stronger has some classic action. Kamen Rider Black and Black RX are well regarded by having great stories to follow. Kamen Rider ZO is a movie you can just sit down and enjoy with touching characters. These may be older than some are used to, but they shouldn't be skipped. Or at the very least, appreciate how far we've come with the franchise.
Oh yeah, 100%.
There are a few outliers I want to bring up as you continue your writer journey. There was an American adaptation of Kamen Rider Ryuki called Kamen Rider Dragon Knight. I personally really loved it, since it still feels like a Kamen Rider season, with great characters, stories, certain tropes, and action, just with English actors. It's very unique, especially compared to its Japanese counterpart. And there is another American adaptation called Saban's Masked Rider. We don't talk about that one. The last two I want to bring up are anniversary seasons. Kamen Rider Decade and Kamen Rider
I wonder if that was the one that I've seen, man. Saban's.
While these aren't major exceptions,
I'm not
you
sure.
should take these with caution anyway, mostly with Kamen Rider Geo. Decade has a couple cameos from previous writers, but he travels through alternate versions of past writer seasons, so in a way, it's like a small taste of them. On the other hand, Geo has cameos galore and brings up a lot of past events, some of which kind of expect you to know. Again, you can watch these anniversary seasons, just be wary of them. With all that being said, there is so much I didn't bring up, since these are my personal recommendations. You can start your Kamen Rider journey anywhere you like, and I think you'll enjoy this Karate Bugman series. If there's anything
It's so nice to see all the riders, man. Sorry, I wasn't talking that much, guys, but
talk about your recommendations too. Just remember to be inclusive and don't tell anyone to avoid
this is
See you next time.
a listening reaction. You know, like I need to see what he's on about. He didn't mention Hibiki, like, you know, I you know what I mean. I wanted some backstory on Hibiki, but I'm gonna check it myself. Like, you know, I actually got recommended a clip to watch, and I'm gonna watch it. It's gonna be today probably. We will see. Anyway, we're gonna jump into the second video. This is a 3-minute introduction to Kamen Rider Tokusatsu series guide for new fans.
Welcome one and all to Toku Showcase, a video. Welcome one
Let's
and
go.
all to Toku Showcase, a video series where I, the Toku professor, introduce Japanese special effects series, both prominent and obscure, to new audiences.
Cool.
Brief, easy to digest, informative videos. If you're new to the Tokusatsu genre, this is the series for you. And if you're already a Toku nerd, these are the perfect videos to share with your pals, so they too can learn to appreciate the shows you love. And who knows, maybe you'll learn something too. Today we're looking at one of Japan's favorite superhero franchises, Toei's long-running Kamen Rider series, which revolutionized the Tokusatsu genre and has remained immensely popular since its inception in the early 70s. So let's put 3 minutes on the clock and rider kick our way into a multiverse of motorcycle
70s
riding
again.
bug-eyed cyborgs. Loosely based on the works of famous manga artist Shotaro Ishinomori, the very first Kamen Rider season premiered on April 3rd, 1971. In the show, a
Okay.
motorcycle racer
Okay.
named Takeshi Hongo is kidnapped and transformed into a powerful grasshopper-themed cyborg by the mysterious terrorist organization Shocker. But he escapes and uses his powers for good to battle Shocker's animal-themed monsters called Kaijin in crazy action sequences throughout the course of the show. Going by the name Kamen, meaning masked, rider, the hero would undergo a transformation by activating a special belt powered by the wind, and would finish off his foes with his signature move, known as the Rider Kick. During filming for episode 10, the actor who played Hongo broke both of his legs while attempting a motorcycle stunt, which resulted in his
What was I saying about the fucking stunts, man? I kept saying this on every video. Oh, man. You have to give it to them, man. I know he broke his legs, man. Respect for that fucking thing, man. You know, people think that actors are like, they sit in front of a camera. And I've been at a movie set myself, once a few years ago on that show Vikings, and man, we was extras and we were fighting with the swords. We were Vikings, in the army, and there was like a huge circle, and the main guys, those two girls and one guy fighting. Man, this was in January. It was so cold outside, man. It was starting to snow in the mountains in Ireland, and there was muck and water like that, and they were fighting in that muck, in that water. Jesus, just looking at them, you would be like, whoa. Like the things that the actors do, man, they're not to be undervalued and taken for granted. You know what I mean? And listen to this. He broke both of his fucking legs. Can you imagine that? Ugh.
Character being temporarily replaced with a second Kamen Rider with a similar backstory, now known as Kamen Rider 2. In episode 40, Kamen Rider 1 returned as the main protagonist, but 2 would occasionally show up to fight alongside him in partnered missions.
Yes.
The series lasted 98 episodes and heavily impacted the Tokusatsu genre as a whole, with many shows copying its formula. A sequel series, Kamen Rider V3, began airing the week after the first show ended, and followed the adventures of the third Kamen Rider, who received his powers from the originals. Several more series, each about a new rider with different powers, would follow, some of which also proved to be quite popular. But over time, new installments came out less frequently, and the franchise went almost completely dormant going into the 90s. The series' creator, Shotaro Ishinomori, began working on plans to revive the series in 1997, and helped get the ball rolling on the next production, Kamen Rider Kuga, but died before its successful release in January of 2000. A pseudo-sequel, Kamen Rider Agito, came out the following year, and from then on, a new Kamen Rider show would release every single year, right up to today. These newer shows introduced several new concepts to the series which stuck, such as each new Kamen Rider living in a separate reality with different rules and villainous forces, and even different interpretations of what it means to be a Kamen Rider. Most riders having access to alternate forms, each granting them different abilities, and more complex storylines. But many things have remained the same throughout the franchise's run. The riders transform using a belt after calling out Henshin, and take on a group of supervillains and kaijin bent on world domination in exciting martial arts battles, often finishing them off with a rider kick. Almost all main riders get around by motorcycle, and their powers are usually linked to the series' villains in some way, but are used for good. Many of the shows feature darker themes, though the modern shows also try to appeal to younger kids more to drive toy sales. Finally, the riders from the various universes are often united, usually in movies, to take on even greater threats to their multiverse. And that's the Kamen Rider series in a nutshell. Thanks for watching.
Nice one. Nice one. We learned a lot, The first video, I do understand now. The first episode of Kamen Rider, first season, whatever you want to call it, is in 1971. But I still don't know, like, the ones that came out in 1926 to 1970 were not Kamen Riders. You get me? Like, because the Showa era is from 1926 to 1989. So, you get me? Something is not adding up. What's that period called? Unless he made a mistake with that. But no, I don't think so. Somebody please explain that to me. I don't understand it. Why is that inconsistency there, like the 1926 thing to 1989, and then actually first episode was 1970, you know. So anyway, I have to understand that. I would be really grateful if somebody would explain that to me, please. Okay, so I would say that's it for this video. I'm gonna cut this video short because I am gonna do a few more videos today, as much as I can on my day off, you know. So yeah, guys, thanks very much for watching with me. Subscribe if you're new, you know, share, like, and comment, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.